Today, we're journeying way back in time, nearly 6,000 years, to uncover a lost metropolis that basically turned the history of prehistoric Japan on its head. Get ready, because what we're about to explore is going to challenge everything you think you know about so-called hunter-gatherer societies.
Japan Deep Dive Report Yokoso. A very warm welcome to the Japan Deep Dive Report.
So let's just jump right in with a puzzle. Take a good look at this. This incredible structure was built thousands of years ago. And get this, the people who built it had no metal tools, no system of rating. So the big question is, how? I mean, how on earth did they pull this off? By all conventional wisdom, this shouldn't even be possible.
Okay, so first up, a surprising discovery, from baseball to the Bronze Age. And believe me, the story of how we even found this place is almost as mind-blowing as the site itself. It didn't start with archaeologists looking for ancient ruins. Nope. It all started with a plan to build a baseball field.
You heard that right. Back in 1992, the plan was to build a new baseball stadium in Aomori Prefecture. But the reality? Well, they stumbled upon a 5,900-year-old settlement, now one of Japan's most important historical sites. During a routine survey before construction, workers found a lot more than just a few old artifacts. They uncovered the foundations of a massive, ancient community. As you can imagine, the baseball plan was scrapped immediately. They had a national treasure on their hands.
And we're not talking about some small temporary camp here. What they found was a sprawling metropolis that people lived in continuously for 1,700 years. To put that in perspective for you, that is an incredibly long time, longer than the city of Rome has been around since its founding. Just let that sink in.
So, how did they build a city that could last for so long? Well, this is where all those old assumptions we have about primitive societies begin to completely fall apart. Let's dig into these Jomon engineering feats, building a civilization.
Okay, first a little bit of context, especially for our international viewers. This all went down during Japan's Jomon period. This was a massive stretch of prehistoric time, lasting over 10,000 years. It actually gets its name, Jomon, from the very cool and distinctive rope pattern designs they pressed into their clay pottery.
Now, right at the heart of the Sanai Maruyama site, archaeologists found the remains of a truly enormous structure. It was built using a method called, and I'll say this carefully, Horidate Bashira Tatemono. Now, this isn't just some fancy term for a hut, it's a sophisticated technique that involves driving massive earth-fast pillars deep into the ground. And the evidence shows this wasn't guesswork. Check this out. Step 1, precision. All 6 of the giant pillar holes were dug to an identical diameter and depth of 2 meters. Step 2, alignment. The spacing between them was measured out to a uniform 4.2 meters, which implies they had some pretty advanced surveying skills. And then step 3, preservation. They actually charred the bases of the giant chestnut pillars to stop them from rotting. That's a form of material science, thousands of years ago.
Yeah, this discovery, as the quote says, overturned the image of the Jomon period as a primitive society. And that's no exaggeration. The sheer scale and precision of this building forced historians to rethink everything. This wasn't a primitive society at all. It was an organized, intelligent, and highly capable civilization.
So we know they were master builders, but what was it actually like to live there? What did they eat? How did they organize themselves? Let's talk about life in the metropolis, a thriving society.
Well, for starters, archaeologists estimate that at its peak, this place was home to about 500 people. Now, that may not sound huge today, but for a prehistoric community, that is an enormous, bustling village. And you just can't have that many people living together without some serious social organization.
And their diet was incredibly diverse. They were collecting chestnuts and walnuts, hunting rabbits and flying squirrels, and hitting the sea for everything from sea bream all the way up to whales and sea lions. But the most stunning discovery? Evidence they ate pufferfish. Eating pufferfish, or fugu, is deadly without highly specialized knowledge of how to remove the poison. And they knew how to do it. Just amazing. And here's another thing. They weren't just passively wandering through the forest hoping to find food. The evidence suggests they were actively managing the forest. They were cultivating entire groves of chestnut trees, which gave them a steady supply of both food and the giant timbers they needed for their incredible buildings. So beyond just survival and engineering, these people had a really rich cultural and artistic life. Their craftsmanship reveals a society that absolutely valued beauty and skill. Let's look at the artistry and craftsmanship, the culture of Jomon.
I mean, just look at the variety here. They were creating beautiful red lacquerware from lacquer sap. That's a really complex process that suggests specialized artisans and high technology. Then there's their famous cylindrical pottery made from clay, used for cooking, storage, and even burial rites. And on top of that, they were weaving intricate baskets from plant fibers, showing off some seriously advanced skills.
One of the most charming finds, though, is what's been nicknamed the Jomon pochette. It's the small, intricately woven bag made from tree bark, and it was found almost perfectly preserved after thousands of years. And inside, there was still a single walnut. It's such an incredibly humanizing discovery, a tiny snapshot of one person's life from the distant past.
Which brings us to our final and maybe the biggest mystery of all. After 1,700 years of stability and success, this thriving city was just abandoned. An enduring mystery. Why did they leave?
So why? Why would a community that had flourished for nearly 2 millennia suddenly pack up and leave? The evidence shows it wasn't destroyed in a war or a catastrophe. It's almost like the people just vanished from the site.
While the leading theory points to a changing world, scientists believe a major climate shift occurred. This probably decimated the chestnut forest they relied on so heavily for both food and building materials. Without that critical resource, this great metropolis may have just become unsustainable, forcing the people to break up into smaller groups and move on.
Ultimately, Sanai Maruyama is just this powerful reminder of how entire civilizations can thrive for centuries and then vanish, only to be rediscovered completely by accident. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other monumental secrets about our past are still buried out there, just waiting for someone to try and build a new baseball stadium on top of them?